Okay, we are going to start. We're going to start with our Dhamma learning mindset as usual. Let's start in English, then we will recite that in Burmese. I like to learn Dhamma. I learn Dhamma well. I enjoy learning Dhamma. I am happy learning Dhamma. Learning Dhamma is the only thing I am focused on at this moment. ဘုရားတပည့်တော်တို့သည်ဓမ္မကိုလုံးလုံးချင်းချင်းသင်ယူကြပါကုန်၏လေးနက်ကောင်းမွန်စွာသင်ယူကြပါကုန်၏သင်ယူခြင်းသင်ယူခြင်း၌မွေးလျော်နှင့်ချိုက်ကြပါကုန်၏သင်ယူခြင်း၌ပျော်ရွှင်ကြပါကုန်၏သေးလာသင်ယူခြင်းတစ်ခုတည်း၌သာမိမိတို့၏စိတ်ကိုတည်ထားစူးစိုက်ကြပါကုန်၏Okay, because we have finished the first 3 Mangalas. We're going to review all these Mangalas and what we learned. So I have put in several slides here. And because there are a lot of new students and there are younger students also, I'll go over that. Okay. So all these slides, you really need to know. Number 1, you really need to understand. Number 2, if you can memorize, that will be the best. So the first one is the definite one that you really need to memorize. So the first 1, 2, and 3 is in Pali. This is definition in English, and this is in Burmese. And I know a lot of you got this by heart. There may be some of you who haven't memorized. So if you haven't memorized this, please do so. Okay? So I'm going to recite together with all of you here. So let's start. Sevana sa balana panida nisa sevana puja sha puja niyana etam mangala mudama. Not to associate with fools, to associate with the wise, to honor those who are worthy of honor. This is the supreme auspiciousness. Lu mai so lin shang de le lo mami we ne kin aung le pnya shi go a shi twe lo ni wa si ka ni yu se သုံးပါးယတနာမိပါများနဲ့ဆရာသမားကိုပူဇော်လေချမ်းသာကိုပေးဆက်ဆံရေးမျှော်တွေးသုံးချက်ပေးအဲ့ဒါမှဗုဒ္ဓဝါဒကပ္ပမင်္ဂလာတွေ Okay, so now I want to see how many of you got this memorized. Even if you got part of it, either in English or Burmese, doesn't matter. I want to see your hands. Raise your hand for me, please, either in the system or in camera. Doesn't matter. If you haven't memorized Pali, it's okay. But of course, I want you to memorize Pali also. Okay, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of you raised in the system. Very good. And all right, there are several of you who haven't got it yet. So if you have not memorized this, please memorize. Remember, this is also part of the test that Pompon is going to ask you in December. So if you get this, you're going to get some money and a certificate. So please memorize all of this, okay? Now, we're going to move on. Now, each and every one, you really need to understand. So the first one, not to associate with fools. So here in red, you got to understand what the definition of the fools, right? Now, there are so many different definitions of the fools. And if you understand the definition of the fools, and the first level, if you do not do what fools do, then you will become wise. That's in general, of course. So for that reason, we put this at the very top, the very first Mangala that you need to understand and you need to practice. So who are fools? Now, fools are first people who practice or people who do 10 kinds of evil conducts. Okay? In Pali, we call it dosarita or dusharita. In Burmese, we call it dusiak seba. Now, this is what you memorize already in 5 precepts, right? So people who do the 5 precepts, they're good. People who practice those, so for example, panati bata, adena dana, kamesu mesa sara, musawara. So these you already know, right? So then what's the 5th one? Sura miraya, right? So that's the drinking alcohol or intoxicant. Now, this 10 kinds of evil conduct, you gotta know by heart too. And these are the things that you gotta avoid at all costs in your life. Panati para, you never kill. Adinadana, you never steal. Kamesu mesasara, you never practice misconduct, sexual misconduct. Musawara, you do not tell lies. Now, these 4, now you have other 6 that you need to memorize, or at least you need to understand. Pisunavasa, slander. You talk bad about others, your friends. And the Parusawasa is vulgar language, foul language like F words and S words and so on and so forth. Then Sampapalapa, meaning useless talk. Okay. Then next one is mental evil conduct, avesha, vyabhada, and mesha deti. Now, if you have these, any one of this, you are considered a fool. Okay, so for that reason, you need to know these. And if you don't do this, you will be considered wise in general. Okay, now for that, here we have 10 kinds of wholesome conduct, or the opposite of dusarita, which is tusarita or susharita. Okay, now basically you avoid all these, right? Panati pada viramani, sekhavran samadhiyami, adena dana viramani, sekhavran samadhiyami, kameshu mesha shara viramani, sekhavran samadhiyami, musavara. Then here is virati. Okay, so you can also say mushawara viramani sekhavran samadhiyami. It's pretty much the same. Now, the same thing that if you memorize this, these are the same. Pishunavasha virati, prosavarsa virati, sampapalapa virati. Okay. Now these 3, you put in A or AN at the beginning. Vesha, vyabhara. So not vesha, vyabhara. And here is mesha deti. Here is samadhi. So if you memorize this one, this will be a lot easier for you. Okay, now that's how we defined who is a fool and who is wise, right? Now, if you understand these 2 in general, you will know the first 2, the meaning of the first 2, and which one to avoid and which one to do. Now, if you want to be more advanced, what we want you to do is who are really considered wise. People who know what the Four Noble Truth, and people who practice. Now, how many of you have memorized Four Noble Truth? Raise your hand. All right, a lot of you, very good. So if you do not know this by heart yet, please memorize it, because if you're a Buddhist, you really need to know this. If you do not know this, you're not a Buddhist. Now, if you want to go even deeper, okay, you need to understand this 12 links of dependent origination, because the 12 links of dependent origination is the science, the law of nature, which explain this number 2 and number 1. So a lot of you who pray with us every night will know this by heart, because that's what we recite every night. So 12 links of dependent origination, you need to memorize also. Okay? So now, once you get that, the next will be to actually apply Noble Eightfold Path. How many of you memorized Noble Eightfold Path in English at least? Okay, very good. So now if you can memorize in Pali also, that will be great, but you don't have to. Now, remember, we want you to apply all these Buddhist concepts in your daily life. Buddhism is about your life, not about religion. Buddhism is for you to practice every moment. So for that reason, we discuss about how to apply this Noble Eightfold Path in your life. And we explain about our vision, mission, and strategies. And we taught you how to apply that in your daily life. Okay? So if you know just this slide, that actually is enough for you to survive in samsara as a Buddhist. Of course, you got to know it and you got to practice it. So for those of you who do not understand this because you're new to this class, then please ask your parents, okay? Since this is so important that we will be repeating this every now and then, again and again also, all right? Definitely you have bright, great brain, so memorize it, just recite it again and again to a point that you will never forget. Okay, so now we're going to move on to discuss about what we have been learning and how we have been applying. So, Ricky, did you discuss this last week? Let me see.
So, one thing is that it's also in my writing. It says, like, it says that I want to improve in math, science topics, and by using that, I can become a better scientist like that, like improve in better grades, and I want to use that by right view. And another thing, I want like not to for mindfulness, like I want to be like careful and then like not do things too quickly and like not rush through things. Like the example over there says like um uh uh so being aware of what I'm doing was it says like where's that actually got cut off. So it says like be careful like when I'm digging because my livelihood is scientist paleontologist. So I want to be careful like not rush through things. And in my attention I said that if I want to be happy, joyful, successful and respected. I want to be happy during my scientist livelihood and I want to be also joyful and going to get successful and respected. On concentrate, focus on livelihood and profession, and like I want to like make sure my mind is focusing and like not thinking on something else. And for right effort, um yeah, right effort, like wait.
Very good. Let's stop here just for a moment. Now, all of you, let's look at what Ricky wants to become. Let's say here, as likelihood, Ricky wants to become a paleontologist or bone expert. How many of you want to be like him? Raise your hand, I want to see. How many of you want to be paleontologist or a bone expert? Okay, I see a few. Now, let's say, since you're young, let's say you want to go on a trip. You want to go have some fun. Where should you go? Which museum should you go? Should you ask your parents to take you to? Who knows? How many of you have been to Top Pit Museum in LA? Anybody? Raise your hand. Ricky, have you been to that museum in Los Angeles?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. So now this is how you will structure your life. Okay. As kids, we all want to have fun, right? We all want to go on a trip. So if you think about going to LA, what's the first place that you want to go to? Disneyland, right? Raise your hand if you never want to go to Disneyland. No one, right? Either go to Disneyland or Disney World, right?
For me to be exact, I would want to go to Disneyland or Hollywood.
Very good. Yes. Very good.
Sorry to interrupt.
What's Hollyland?
Hollywood.
So if you have this plan with Noble Eightfold Path, you want to go on a trip, you want to go have fun. Yes, we all want to go to Disneyland when we go to LA. Now, yes, you go to Disneyland, but on the other hand, if you want to become a paleontologist like Ricky, you will ask your parents, hey, mom, hey, dad, take me to that Top Pit Museum, right? Because that is the actual site where they get all these bones of the dinosaurs and all the animals from Ice Age. Now that Top Pit Museum actually combined the movie Ice Age and the actual paleontologist site. That's the gold mine for a paleontologist. If you really want to be a paleontologist, you can spend like the whole week there. They have the actual lab. They have people who are actually working in the Top Pit. You can get and touch the Top Pit. So instead of going to Disneyland, just Disneyland alone and come back tired, you can go to Disneyland, have fun. Then you can go to the Top Pit Museum and you can actually learn for your life. Okay, so this is how you structure your life. This is how you tell your parents, hey, mom, send me to LA. I want to go to Disneyland. Your mom will say, oh, that's too expensive. Then this is how you will convince your mom and dad. Yeah, I know it is expensive. You know what? My main reason is not only Disneyland. I want to go to Top Pit Museum because I want to be a paleontologist and I really will learn a lot about paleontology. Then your mom and dad will be very happy. You know what? Yes, it cost me a few $1,000s, but we're going to make that trip happen. Okay, so this is how you're going to convince your parents so that you get to either Disneyland or Hollywood or whatever you want to go in LA, plus this for your life.
Okay, I wanted to be a designer, like graphic design or interior. And my mission is to be wealthy, happy, and well-respected. And my strategy is to be passionate in what I'm doing to get good grades and to get into a good college and like focus on what I'm doing and like help others.
Very good. So what you're going to do is you're going to focus on this and make sure that whatever you do actually is heading towards this direction.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. Let's see who will be next. All right. Tami Nolan, you want to tell us about what you want in your life and how you apply this Noble Eightfold Path to your goal?
I want to be a pediatrician, and how I'll become it is by studying about the human body and helping other people.
All right, very good to me. You want to tell us a little bit more how you are going to get there?
How I'm going to get there is I'm going to do good in my school, and I'm going to listen to whatever my teacher says, even if it doesn't have to do with the human body. I'm going to still keep on trying.
I would love that kind of students always. Good job, Tami. All right, so that's very good. Both Skylar and you want to be pediatrician, right? Now, of course, Skylar is a little young and she knows the goal. She knows what she wants to do. Now, because you're a little older and have higher grade, now you are putting in more specific things that, hey, I want to do this. I want to go through this so that I get there. So very good to me. That's a very good job. Okay. All right. Now let's see. Who is next? All right, Yadi, you want to tell us about what you want to be and what you're planning?
I want to be a lawyer. I am not sure what type yet, but I want to be able to help people with their problems. And I want to help people not because of the money or disrespect, but just to help people when they're having trouble in life. And I'm going to be helping people that have reasonable cases, and I'm doing it for a good cause and not bad people who don't deserve it. And I'm going to work on persuasion and being able to, for practice, I'm going to be going on online courses, speaking to professional lawyers about their experiences and what they do, and study a lot of prior cases to see what went wrong or what went right and what took place. And keeping a positive attitude and just trying my best in general and achieving what I want.
Okay, so what I will make Yadi do is I will make her print this out and read this to me every day. Let me tell you why. Because a lot of us, we have all these dreams, right? I want to be the president. I want to be the most famous actor in the whole world. Then what happened is that we do nothing, right? We just forget about what we said or what we put on the paper. And then we are just drifted away with all these daily life and games and friends and this and that. We all want to have fun. We should have fun, but on the other hand, we should not forget. So this is what I tell you to do also. For those of you who has submitted all these papers to me, print that out. Read it out to your mom or dad or your grandpa or grandma once a day. Okay, so that it reminds you, okay, this is what I want and this is what I need to do. If not, you will be lost. Okay, because there are so many things in life and you will be confused. So for you not to be confused and for you not to miss your target, you really have to remind yourself what you want to be and what you promise to yourself. So print this out, make it handy, read it to your mom and dad every day, every night. Okay? Sarah, go ahead, me.
Okay, if you can add more things of how to achieve your goal.
Oh, definitely, Tami. So for those of you who did not put it in detail before, you can always add that in and send it back to me. So, or you can change later. So let's say when you get to your high school, you might have more specific, right? let's say you want to be a business person, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a pediatrician, whatever you want to be. Now that you're a little young, you may not have things that are too specific. Now, when you get a little older, when you get to like high school or college, your plan will be more detail oriented, right? I want to go to this specific school, okay? Now, I want to practice this part of medicine, right? Now, for example, let's say Skylar wants to be pediatrician, right? Nolan wants to be pediatrician. Now, pediatrician just tell you that you want to take care of kids, but how, right? You can be a surgeon who can open all these very sick kids with surgical problem, or you can just be a physician, right? You can take care of all these little kids who has cancer. You can take care of their eye only, or you can take care of their teeth only. Now, you will become more specific when you get older. Right now, as long as you have some kind of skeletal structure of what you want to be and how you're going to get there, that's good enough. But always add in more. Oh, I want this, I want that. Okay? So the key is print this out, read it to your mom and dad every night, and change it whenever you get better things. All right, Miss Sarah? Yeah, all right, very good. So, okay, let's move on. Oh, okay, Wayne, you want to tell us what you want to be, Dad?
Okay, so I don't really know what I really want to be because I'm Wayne and I don't know. So I just labeled one of the things called CEO. So CEOs, they have to own a business. So yeah, they have to be rich and they have to be trustworthy and they must be good at the task. So for like write speech, talk to investors nicely, be nice to everyone, get good vocals and follow instructions, actions, make good trades with business possible, and well, for my life, what I want is a well and peaceful life with no stress and be wealthy. Yeah. And so just keep on going, never giving up till I reach the end. And never get distracted and do whatever it takes to make me not fall down, but keep on going to the top. And so yeah, that's really it.
Okay, so this is a very typical one. Now, I like Wayne because he is honest. He still tell me, even though I push him quite a lot. And as like I told you guys before, you have to have a goal. Doesn't matter, you can change your goal next year or tomorrow or next month, but have a goal. Still, Wayne is typical Wayne. I don't know what I want. To be very honest, that's happened to a lot of kids these days, especially Americans. They have no clue what they want to be. They have no clue what they want to do. Now, I salute all of you, or most of you who have your goal in life already, right? There are a lot of you who wants to be doctors, lawyers, this and that, businessmen, paleontologists, scientists. That's great. But if you still do not have any goal in your life today, now, don't be depressed because you're just being a typical American. Because you're born here and you're just being one of those. But as I told you before, I want you to have one. So just make one. So that's what Wayne did. So he has no clue what he wants to be, but because I told him, no, you're gonna pick one. So he picks one to be a CEO of a company and he did this. So I'm going to make him the same thing. I'm going to make him print this out and read it to me every night, right? So there are two possibilities. One, let's say you don't have any goal, but you just pick one and you read it out to your parents. Chances are that you will become interested in what you wrote down. Or you will say, this is not me. I don't want it. I'm going to find something else, right? So that's the reason why I want you to do that. So please do that, okay? Even if you do not have a goal, all right? Okay, let's move on. Oh, it's Ted, go ahead, Doc.
So for my life, I want to be a biomedical engineer and if I can, also a video game developer. So for right view slash understanding, I need to first like go to college courses and take classes that include coding and medicine. And for my intention, I want to like be wealthy in like life and have no stress. And in order to get right speech and action, I have to take classes and talk with people who also want to be biomedical engineers or video game developers and get internships. And my livelihood is being a biomedical engineer, and I have to avoid like the 5 precepts in order to get there. And my right effort is trying to stay focused and not get distracted. And my right mindfulness is like is being mindful of what I'm doing, like if I have to fix my code or not messing up when I'm helping other people doing things in my job. And my concentration as that I have to stay focused, and if I'm too stressed, then I have to like use meditation or do something else.
Very good, thank you. So again, the same thing, I'm going to make Ted print this out and read it to me every night. Because being my son, he write very beautiful stuff on here. But probably he is doing only 20% of what he wrote down. And a lot of time the opposite. So that's normal, right? That what happened to me too when I was your age, his age. So, but the key here is to commit to these things that you wrote down and practice it, okay? All right. Okay, Ted did some extra work with the triangles. All right, we're going to go for one more student, and is Hayne here today?
She did it.
Yeah. You want to talk about?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I want to be an astronaut when I grow up. So basically, my intention is to be wealthy, respected, and free of stress. And I want to be, I'm concentrating on my purpose, my meaning, and intentions. And I always want to be respectful and kind and have the right view. I have to be wary of what I'm doing to see if my speech and actions are in line with the right view. And I have to learn, understand, and communicate.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dan. So if you change this to be aware of, that will be a little bit more Buddhist, okay? Rather than worry of, right? So Kathleen, you want to share us what you want to be?
So my vision is having a fun, wealthy, and stress-free life, which falls under right view and right mindfulness. And my mission is being a doctor, which falls under right livelihood. And strategies to help achieve this goal is going to medical school, helping patients, and learning medical conditions, which fall under right intention, right action, and right effort.
Very good. Now, let's help Kathleen. Kathleen wants to be a doctor, but on the other hand, because she's a kid and she wants to play some game on the tablet. What kind of game can she play that will actually fall under her career to become a doctor? But being a kid, she wants to have some fun. She wants to play some game. So does she play Fortnite? No. What kind of game can she play so that it goes under this Noble Eightfold Path, and that actually is towards the same goal, and also she can be a just, fun kid? Who wanna advise her? Who wanna give advice to her? Eric, now you're the advisor for Kathleen. What kind of game can she play?
Surgeon Simulator.
Oh, okay, all right, very good. Anyone else want to advise Kathleen what kind of game she can play? Wayan, go ahead.
Operation board game.
Operation board game. Okay. What else? So there are games that you can actually be a real doctor and operate. So there are several games that you can actually operate on the patients, and they'll be bleeding, the heart rate go up, and also it's very fun. Now, definitely if you can stay away from games, that's the best. But if you really, really have to play games just because, you know, I want to have fun, I want to talk about games with my friends, then try to buy games that actually go in the same direction as you are. Yes, definitely there may be a little bit of distraction, but there are some games that actually can be very helpful for your career, okay? For example, any one of you want to be a surgeon, a doctor who operates on people? All right, Eric wants to be, who else? Kenneth want to be a surgeon? Okay, all right. Now, these days, we have surgeons who operate on the patients like a robot. So they're like playing games, what we call robotic surgery. So Eric, do you know about robotic surgery? No, not yet?
No.
Not yet, okay, all right. So you should look it up, okay? So the robotic surgery is the latest trend. You can actually operate a patient from here in the United States, and you can operate a patient in England or Germany or wherever the technology in China. Okay, you don't have to know that patient. You don't have to actually go to China. Let's say there is a patient in China that you want to operate on. Then you can actually operate from here with that, what we call robotic arm and robotic surgery. Now that actually started with the games. Now there are games that you can actually do all these operations. So if you really want to play games, focus on those kind of games rather than just routine games that everybody play. Okay, so Kathleen, now you got advice from two great friends, right? What kind of game you can play? Do you play games, Kathleen?
I watch some health topic on Brain Pop.
I see. Okay, all right, that's good. But you don't play games. Perfect. Good girl. All right.
Everyone plays games.
All right. Yes. Yes. Everyone plays game, but the less game you play, the better for you. We are going to talk to Hinted. Tata Hinted, you want to talk about yours?
好，大家試下揾片錄應該係表裏面。I want to become a doctor. In the right view, I will stop dreaming about it and I will face the realism of being a doctor. Right thought, why do you want to be a doctor? I want to save lives. Right speech, talk about being a doctor with other doctors. Right action, start doing things to help you succeed in becoming a doctor. Right livelihood, healthy lifestyle. Right effort, put an effort into your work. Right concentration, stay on the path of being a doctor. Right mindfulness, be happy about what you're doing. Your emotion control all the outcomes of your goals.
All right, so you want to tell us a little bit about stop dreaming about it?
Being a doctor isn't this magical, happy place. Sometimes you mess up and people die because of you, and you should face that fact. It's a very scary and stressful work. All right. And people usually see doctors as being very happy, but sometimes some doctors kill themselves because of what they see and what happens to their patients.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. You actually nail it. You're right. So a lot of people think that doctors make a lot of money and all they do is just have fun and enjoy their life. You're right. That's not true. But on the other hand, if you want to be a doctor, if it is in your heart, go for it. But you got to be really aware of what the reality is. Thank you, Dad. Very good. Very good. So those of you who wants to be a doctor, Hank put it really very beautifully in the sense that it's not easy to become a doctor, and not all doctors' life is beautiful either, because you will notice that your mom or your dad stressed when they get home. A lot of you guys, you have your parents, either both of them are doctors or one of them doctors. When they get home, they're stressed, they're tired. There are times that they are so stressed that they might be not talking or even yelling at you. Of course, that's not good. But you need to understand also that's their life. They deal with life and death. A lot of people dying in their hands. They see people dying, crying, in pain, suffering. So being a doctor is great, but not always fun. So you got to be very mindful of that also. All right, thank you, Hank. Okay, let's move on. All right, Tata Eric, you want to share us?
For my livelihood, I want to be a blood transfusion doctor. For my intentions, I want to be respected, happy, and healthy. I would study hard, work hard, and try hard, and practice every day. Don't give up, be hardworking, watch videos or movies about doctors, practice every day, and keep on trying.
Very good. So yeah, that's very important, right? And probably I want to ask Eric, parent, is he watching videos and movie about doctors, or is he watching games on YouTube? So, but this is very good point, right? So your livelihood, your action, your speech has to be very close to your goal. If you're watching all this movie about doctors, okay, operations, or he wants to be a blood transfusion, you know, looking into the blood. Now, that is great. But if he is just playing games and watching the game videos, now he is not in the right action, right? So yes, this is a right livelihood that he wants to be, but his action, okay, and speech has to be right too, that can lead to this. So Eric, are you watching great movies that are related to this, or are you watching the movies that are on games?
About doctors.
About doctors, great, thank you, good job. Okay, all right, so we have a lot of students who wants to be doctors, great. All right, what about Jackson?
Jackson Ung.
So like I want to be.
It's been an hour.
So I want to be in the FBI, and then to get to that goal, I need to study hard and go to a good school. You know, I want a happy and healthy life, and also rich. And then, to get to that goal, I need to be positive, and I should not give up.
Very good. You see, Jackson is very smart because he can watch a lot of movie today and he can say, hey, you see, Mom, there's FBI sign in there. That's about FBI. That's why I'm watching that movie. No, I'm just joking. So definitely to become an FBI, you need to be smart. You need to be very fit. You need to know a lot of martial art and shooting, this and that. So great. So I don't see many people wants to be FBI, many students. So great, that. Maybe we'll need your help later. Don't forget about us when you become an FBI. All right, very good. So do we have more? Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, all right. William, do you want to talk about yours?
Oh yeah. So I want to be a logic game developer or a computer engineer, and I want a respected and a happy life. I can talk with experts in coding. I can learn more about the computer programming. I can research about things, and I can get ideas from other games like that have coding in it.
Very good. I think you'll be a great coder or game developer, and I like your cursive. Your cursive writing is good because I don't see many kids writing cursive these days because cursive is not really trained in school these days. So you're writing cursive, very good, Doc. So William, what I want is though I want you to maybe rewrite this a little bit better with a little bit more detail. Could you do that for me?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you. I would appreciate that. Okay. So you can definitely ask your mommy to help you with this. Okay. And send it back to me.
I leave?
I will repeat. I want you to make games, not play games, right? If you play games, you become the victim, or you're feeding money to that person or that company who invented this game. You are a victim, okay? But I want you to learn from any game and you make your own game, okay? So Kevin, I will tell you the same thing. I want you to rewrite a little bit more detail and send it back to me again, okay? What I want is how you're going to do that, okay? How you're going to change the way that you do things, the way that you look at the games. Yes, you can still play games. So let's say you are playing games and your mom tell you, well, hey, why are you playing games? Mom, I'm looking at this game. I'm looking at how they designed this. How did they design after this little toy jump and got this high score and put in this color or that sound effect? Now that is very acceptable, okay? But if you're playing games just because you want to be those one out of a billion kids who are making millions just by playing games, now that would be just like Hank said, it will be a dream, meaning you are just daydreaming. You're never going to get there, right? So I don't want you to play games, but I want you to make games, right? So very good. Okay, so Dr. Yosh.
Sure. For my right vision, I want to be stylish, wealthy, peaceful, and stress-free life. My profession is I want to be an architect, and the way for me to get to be an architect is by like talking to an architect expert, taking classes, and reading books on how buildings are designed.
Very good. So if you want to be an architect, so you probably should be playing with Legos, or you probably be playing games that kind of Lego-like things, and looking at designs and going out into some old buildings and looking at the architect or the different country. And like, for example, like Australia and Switzerland has a lot of like modern design architect kind of thing. So whenever you think about going on a trip or game or anything, you should focus on the architect. So maybe Dylan, I would tell you the same thing. If you can rewrite it a little bit with a little bit more detail and send it back to me, could you please do that?
Sure, I will do that.
Thank you, Dan. All right, Miranda, let me hear yours.
I want to become a dermatologist. My vision is to be wealthy, happy, well-educated, passionate, respected, highly achieved, and have a stress-free life. And in order to achieve my vision and become a dermatologist, I want to meet those who are professional, familiar in the area, study hard, be compassionate towards others, keep an organized life so that it isn't messy, I guess. Research and learn new things, whenever possible, and have perseverance and courage, and to be resilient.
All right, very good. So Miranda wants to be a dermatologist. So that's actually, it's a doctor who specializes in skin, right? So like, for example, some of you now are going to be teenagers, you have ugly pimples, your face is going to be ugly, then you see a dermatologist. Now, dermatologist, one of the top doctors and very difficult to get in. So Miranda will have to try very, very hard. She has to be very competitive. She has to study really hard, because it is not only that you want to become a doctor, you want to be a dermatologist. Basically, it's a specialist. So it's very competitive field. But lifestyle is very good, because there's no such thing as what we call emergency. So for example, like a lot of your parents, including myself, we are general physicians. So we have emergency, we gotta go to emergency room, we gotta take care of very sick patient, we gotta take care of dying patient. The dermatologist does not have to do any of those, right? So if I'm dying, who cares about my skin anymore, right? So, but if you're happy, if you're young, let's say you wanna go for a special party, you wanna make your skin look really beautiful, right? If you're black, you want to be white. If you're white, you want to be black. Then, or if you have a little tiny pimple, you want to wash it off, right? So being a dermatologist, very good lifestyle. You make a lot of money, but because of that, it's very difficult to get into. So, Miranda, since you want to be really, really, really advanced in the advanced and very competitive field, I want you to be a little bit more detail oriented too, and send it back to me. Will you please do that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, very good then.